Hey again, thanks for tuning in. If you're back from the first episode of me documenting the journey building a no-code SaaS agency. So my name's Reese. Over the last 8 years, 8, 9 years now, I've been working in the no-code bubble development industry. So I started off launching a SaaS product, then launching another SaaS product, and then launching another SaaS product, and ended up just falling in love with building things. I think some entrepreneurs fit into the bucket of doing anything for money, and others just love the process of building and going from 0 to 1. And for me, building apps, building software was something that I just love doing. And that's kind of led to me changing things up. I freelanced for a few years, and then I've now built Creative Concepts, which has been um, sort of more of an agency model for the last couple of years, and we're now starting to get more traction. We're starting to get in bigger and better clients, which is really great. We do advertising, we do all sorts of bits and pieces for customer acquisition. And just to recap, I'm doing these videos just for my own personal benefit, maybe or maybe not. They'll help some people. Um, could be a case that the quality of video evolves and you see me with a mic or something over in the near future if I take it seriously. But I thought it'd be cool just to document this journey and explain um, what I'm doing at the moment, why I'm doing it. Maybe it helps you with your agency if you're in the no code space as well, whether that's a Glide, Webflow, Squarespace, Bubble. No code is massive and it's only going to get bigger. And even with vibe coding coming in, I think there's a lot of opportunities out there for people to start quite niche focused agencies. We haven't found that particular niche yet, and maybe that's something I'll talk about. But yeah, I wanted to just to talk about my story with things and um, where I'm at, how things are going, and yeah, see what happens. So I thought the focus for this episode, I should put up my notes. Um, I post a lot on LinkedIn, sort of 2, 3 times a week, and I share a lot of sort of thoughts immediately as they come in on there. Usually just giving updates. I suppose LinkedIn for me is kind of like a text-based documenting the journey type thing, where as random stuff happens and as random um, interesting things happen within the business, I'll just write a LinkedIn post and do the classic thing of putting up a selfie picture or putting up something of me on holiday or whatever it might be, just to get some attention. I think that's kind of the classic LinkedIn strategy now. If you go on LinkedIn, is either a chat GPT generated post and just a random image of someone. I think the strategy of using a picture is good, and I'll keep doing that. But I started off with ChatGPT posts, and they kind of did okay, but people start to tell. So now it's just a case of I just bang out a thought. If I've had something's gone wrong, something's gone right. I had a realization. I'll just quickly um, post it on LinkedIn with a quick photo, and maybe I'll extend that to Twitter at some point because I think Twitter's good for that, but for where we serve clients and where we're trying to go, I think LinkedIn just works better. Um, so yeah, I kind of use LinkedIn as my personal Twitter. But anyway, or X. That's beside the point. So something that I've kind of realized is I read a lot about creating offer packages and how to package offers up, how to um, make sort of money back guarantees and all these kind of exciting things that you hear a lot from the kind of online guru guys who are experts in marketing and explain how easy it is if you just create like an undeniably good offer. Um, so I kind of got sucked into that world of trying to package things up and then run meta ads to those particular offers. We were running an offer at one point for apps in the fitness industry, apps in the nutrition industry, apps in the dating industry as well, I think. A few more, like you get an app within 6 weeks and you get a money back guarantee and you get all this other stuff bundled in. And then we had like landing pages, and this is only over the last sort of few months. Like this isn't historic. This is over the last few months that we kind of tried all this stuff. Um, and I started to realize that we were diverging away from the strategy that we used to kind of build up a really good client base, me as a freelancer as well before then. before building it into a small agency. So we're a sort of a 4-person agency at the moment, or 3, 4-person agency at the moment. Um, and I kind of realized as we try too hard to make things digestible and package things up as offers, it starts to turn off the right type of clients and it starts to attract the wrong type of clients. And when I say wrong type of clients, I don't mean, personally bad or anything like that. Like they're still like super nice people, and obviously most people who you try and engage with are great. But I mean bad fit as in terms of where do we want the direction of the business to go, and what type of value do we want to create and provide, um, and who for ultimately. And when you have landing pages with big flashy offers and bundles and VSLs. And obviously, I look quite young, so I'm 28, but I've got quite a young face. And I think me sitting there with a VSL, talking about what's in the package, what's in the offer, I think it. And I put a LinkedIn post out 3 or 4 days ago about how it can just appear to be too much like a money Twitter type offer and like a guru type offer, and that's not what I want to be, and that's not where I want to take the agency or evolve the agency into. So I kind of just decided like, let's just start again, and I spent 2, 3 days just completely rebuilding the whole website from the ground up. Um, Bit of a brand rework to a certain extent, um, but more so just how we want to come across. Because I think a website is almost like the doormat to the business. And if the doormat is wrong, people aren't going to come through the door. Or at least if the doormat it just attracts the wrong people in the street, you're just going to get the wrong people coming through the door every time. And when you have these kind of crazy offers, they can work really, really well for the marketing industry or kind of lead generation and stuff like that, where I think a lot of these marketing guys they appeal to that sort of audience, and they shape that audience. Whereas when you're selling really high ticket, I say really high ticket, when you're selling high ticket software development solutions, large scale projects, even app development as well. I mean, app development typically is a particularly large scale, um, but you need to have a paired you need to have a pairing between the types of products and services that you provide, and then obviously the offer itself, if you want to call it an offer, but also just how everything that surrounds that offer. So the website that it sits on, the positioning, the messaging, bundling loads of stuff up. So a perfect example is if you sell software projects. So we sell to businesses, right? So we try to sell um, solutions to their problems. It could be a custom CRM, it could be a custom dashboard, it could be like a web portal for employees, whatever it might be. There's a particular problem or particular initiative that they need to solve or pursue within the business. Uh, if we can provide a solution for that, that's all they want. They're not interested in whether they get a free ebook, whether they get a free, I don't know, let's say a community or WhatsApp group or whatever. We didn't really do any of that stuff, but we did bundle in like free ebooks, marketing stuff, a free logo, loads of other random stuff, which is great for very early stage people, early stage clients, entrepreneurs, people who are just getting started. And it attracts those types of people because the offer is positioned for those types of people and because you're offering things that they probably want. And then I suddenly realized we're getting a massive drop off in business clients coming through, and we only want to really work with business clients. We were running an ad that had a hook, which was have an app idea but don't know where to start. Really powerful hook. Everyone's got an app idea. Most people don't know where to start. But because of that, it was obviously attracting really early stage people. And we ended up having like 300 plus sales calls to close like, I think it was about 14 projects in total from 300. Um, And it's still a positive ROAS, so we've still got like a 4-to-1 ROAS, I think, on that meta campaign. But the issue there was, from a time perspective, me as the founder, as a small team, I had to conduct 300 plus calls to get that those 14 deals. And that becomes very difficult from a time management point of view, from a time commitment point of view. It made it very difficult to run the business and sort of manage output and oversee fulfillment to a certain extent, when we were just having so many calls with people who weren't the right fit. Great people, really nice, no problem there. It was more just a case of, um, when it came down to it, the budget just wasn't a fit, or there wasn't a budget at all, and people wanted kind of pro bono work or equity splits, revenue shares. And also, you can't really grow a business like that. Um, so I think a key learning for me recently has been, don't try and attract as many leads as possible. We were getting like 10, 12 bookings a day, calls scheduled a day for £50 a day ad spend. So it wasn't a huge ad spend at all. In fact, it was a tiny ad spend comparatively to most businesses out there. And we were getting, yeah, 10 calls booked. We experimented with £100 a day, £150 a day ad spend, and we were just driving the number of leads up, the number of calls booked up, but then the no shows would increase. So that number of people not actually showing up to the call. And then I'd have to call them and say, hey, we've got a call booked. You still interested? And then it'd be like, oh yeah, let me just get Zoom. And then we'd be waiting 10, 15 minutes to get on a call on Zoom while they fired up the laptop. So there's all these kind of little things where it became very, very difficult to manage that. And we kind of had this realization that we've diverted away so much from the types of clients that we have always worked with, me as a freelancer, but also just where I wanted to, when I first started Creative Concepts, who I wanted to serve. Um, so redid the whole thing, redid the whole website, much more premium positioning now, much more of a focus on, and this is the biggest takeaway, focus on the service that we provide, not on me and the offer. So before, it was very much a VSL, who am I? Um, Again, a money Twitter style uh, approach to sell the outcome with bundled things wrapped into it, which we delivered, and clients were super happy. We got great reviews, all of that kind of thing. But again, it just led to the wrong. The time required wasn't a good fit. Our project would take significantly longer because obviously you're having to educate on all the other components of launching an app startup or a software business. You're having to help with um, helping them with all of the kind of branding, the logo design, the positioning, websites, and then obviously with websites comes things like terms and conditions and privacy policies, which they didn't have. So there's all these extra horizontal stuff that we had to sort of support with or point them in the right direction. When actually, if we were just focused on businesses to start with, we would just be doing the tech deployment, which is what we do best. We wouldn't be doing any of the consultative stuff that we weren't being paid any extra for, but was just sucking a huge amount of time out of my schedule, but also the team schedule as well, to organize things. And then also with the extension of that, there'll be no shows and problems like that. So we've shifted away from the VSL approach. We've shifted away from talking about the offer and the outcome. And we've now just focused on the services. Those services being web portal development, SaaS development, um, tech initiative, R&D development, that kind of thing, for businesses who've got R&D budget and uh, projects set aside for that kind of thing, and some of the R&D incentives out there as well. That's where the focus is now. So we can just focus on building great tech products and not have to worry about everything else. They've already got legal departments, they've already got web, they've already got marketing, and obviously we can advise and support if needed, but there's a line there, and you're not turning the business into a startup kind of factory where you're having to do all this extra stuff that you didn't really think would be involved for free. Um, if marketing support or a website is needed, great, we can quote for it and we can offer that as an extra service, but it's not kind of an assumed bundled in. And I think that was also another problem where people assumed that we would also just do everything and run the business for them to a certain extent, uh, all for just like one fixed price. And as much as we were clear about that from the offset and throughout, and even the marketing and everything like that, when you're working with people who are really early stage, there's some issues there with how that works, and the expectation that they might have, despite everything you do to set expectation. there's expectation that you will just take care of everything for them. And it's very, very difficult to grow a business like that. So I'm going to wrap this video up because I'm already 15 minutes in and I'm probably just waffling now. So key takeaway from me over the last few months has just been the positioning is everything. The website attracts, the website is the doormat and it will bring in the right people if it's set up to attract those people. You can't talk about serving businesses, but then have a website that screams out to entrepreneurs and early stage people. It's just a complete mismatch. And the messages will either won't attract anyone or it will just keep attracting the audience that you're not necessarily going after. Hooks are super important in ads, and I'll probably do a video on ads and marketing and meta and all of that kind of stuff that we're trialing. We're also looking at SEO now more. So I'll probably focus on that soon. But yeah, it just comes down to positioning and who we want to be when we kind of grow up, who we want to be as a business, what direction we want to take it in, and why, and making sure that we serve the right people for the right reasons. Thanks.